Permission to report, Lord Captain. Over the past few days, I received several messages from different decks complaining about anomalous behaviors in the ship's cogitators and servitors. The machine spirits are restless and rebellious, and no tech litany or ritual pacification can rid them of this obstinacy. The tech priests can deal with the vessel's systems, but the servitors, they make errors in their tasks, disobey orders, change the assigned rituals, or sometimes downright freeze as if in a trance. A click comes through the Vox channel, followed by a weary sigh. Lord Captain, occurrences such as these are caused by errors in cogitator calculations, or have some other sensible explanation. I beseech you not to take after those who whisper about the ship being cursed or possessed. Adira joins the channel and chimes in playfully. Oh, don't start, old man. All these peculiar happenings have long since turned into local legends. A door slams shut, a lumen starts flickering. Folks have grown used to all that, so our resident ghost has decided to up the ante. I'm telling you, things are only going to get worse from here. The technomats inspected the servitors and concluded they pose no danger. According to the servants of the Omnissiah, such behavior is caused either by the echoes of the minds not completely eliminated, or by manifestations of the machine spirit's will. Nevertheless, the faulty servitors make the crew's task considerably more difficult, and High Factotum Janris Danrock would like to discuss how we should deal with the defective property. He is awaiting your audience on the bridge. Okay. Let's go to the bridge. Come on. Alright. We'll talk to Janris, and then we should look around to find Pasqal, because he should be new here. We'll have to go through all of his dialogue. The High Factotum Janris Danrock greets you with a cool smile and the merest hint of a bow. Pleasure to see you, Lord Captain. How may I be of assistance? Vidge just informed me about a problem with the servitors. What happened? You see, your lordship, the ship's servitors have been malfunctioning of late. They violate protocols, interrupt their tasks, observe crew members for long periods of time, and move erratically with no meaning or purpose. Janris Danrock nervously pulls on his luxurious frock coat, as if it were uncomfortably tight. Had it been a routine technical fault, I would have decided the fate of those servitors myself, but I deemed it necessary to notify you. I do not wish to hide such irregularities from the Lord Captain. If you wish to observe the servitors' unusual behavior before you decide their fate, this can be arranged. The majority of the defective units have been delivered to one of the storage compartments pending your decision. Pasqal Haneumann expressed the desire to be present during the inspection, should it be carried out. I suppose the expertise of the esteemed Magos may come in handy. Wish to take a look at them before deciding their fate. I shall take a look at the servitors, but not right away. Just dispose of the defective equipment without me. No, let's check out these defective servitors. So yeah, I wish to look at these servitors before deciding their fate. As you wish, your lordship. Would you like the Engineer Prime to accompany you? Yes, Pasqal shall come with me. As your lordship commands. I think it's interesting that we're already calling him our Engineer Prime when he just told us that, yeah, while you're in this system, I will stand by your side as you're helping out with the current problems with the monastery and whatnot. But just this system. Like, I'm not leaving with you. And we're just like, yep, we have already claimed him as our new Engineer Prime, permanently. Sector data unavailable, region data unavailable, location Von Valencia's flagship lower decks. Material, report of a tech phenomenon that was observed during the Lord Captain's visit to Bay AKN 108 from the words of High Factotum Janris Danrock. When his lordship arrived at the scene, he found the servitors in the same position that they assumed after they had been corralled into the bay, all standing in a long spiraling line and facing the center of their strange formation. The moment his lordship crossed the threshold of the bay gate, their bodies jerked into motion all as one, as if obeying a command. The servitors turned to face the Lord Captain. The technomats, tasked with overseeing the defective units, even reached for their weapons, but then the servitors went still just as abruptly, staring at his lordship with vacant eyes. All present held their breath, disturbed by this sight. We waited for the Lord Captain to speak. His lordship, Ignatius von Valencius, took several steps towards the servitors, gestured for his Engineer Prime to study the servitors, demanded a report on the defective unit status from the technomats. ordered that one of the servitors be disassembled and its components investigated, but turned to me to announce its decision. I'm going to have the Engineer Prime study them first, before I do anything. The Engineer Prime slowly waded into the motionless ranks of the servitors, peering into their faces and checking the readings. There was no haste in Pasqal's actions. With mesmerizing diligence, he inspected every single unit in his path, and binaric prayers were his companions in this investigation. The examination confirmed that the Technomat's initial hypothesis, the servitors' souls, or rather the souls of the people they once were, had awakened. Not yet fully conscious of their past and present, these half-machines could nonetheless feel primitive emotions and sensations such as fear and pain. This undesirable consequence of shoddily performed lobotomy is more rarely observed, and yet, for some unknown reason, it has occurred in every single one of the servitors gathered in the bay. Okay, I will now take several steps toward the servitors. Immediately, the servitors, each and every one of them, stepped toward the Lord Captain in perfect unison. They mimicked his movements with frightening precision. The rogue trader halted in place and, after a moment's thought, waved his hand, and the servitors just as synchronously repeated the gesture as well. When the Lord Captain turned quizzically to the Technomats, so did the servitors, as if mocking him. Whatever the Lord Captain did, be it to an incline of the head, a wave of a hand, or a step to the side, the defective units repeated it without a moment's delay or hesitation, like grotesque marionettes controlled by an unseen puppeteer. We observed this mime unfold in distressed bafflement for nearly a minute until the servitors finally came to a stop. Not sensing any threat from them, the rogue trader approached with confidence. The Lord Captain examined the servitors. As High Factotum, it was I who prompted the entire inspection, and thus it was my duty to follow the Lord Captain. As we stepped closer, we noticed a fascinating irregularity. The servitors' pupils, normally still, were shaking wildly. Their bulging veins were pulsating under their copper collars, inscribed with their past offenses. It was as if those mindless half-machines were locked in a perpetual state of extreme tension. A visibly shaken technomat behind us proposed that the human souls had awakened within the servitors' bodies after a long slumber, deep within their lobotomized brains. Formerly bereft of intelligence, they had attained awareness, feeling, and understanding. After a pause, the Technomat added that the servitors used to function properly and that no one had been able to explain the change in their behavior. His gaze still trained on the motionless but animate half-machines and half-people, the Lord Captain stepped away from the servitors. All present held their breath, disturbed by this sight. We waited for the Lord Captain to speak. His Lordship, Ignatius von Valentius, demanded a report on the defective unit status from the Technomats. The Technomats' long-winded and detailed report could have been summarized in a single key point. Despite the servitors' abnormal behavior, they were still quite capable of carrying out tasks, and therefore, the circumstances did not call for the termination. Alright. I will order one of the servitors to be disassembled and its components investigated. A group of Technomats hurried to act upon the Lord Captain's command. The servitor's mechanical parts separated with clicks and snaps and hisses. The sutures between its wrinkled pale flesh and its augments were laid disgustingly bare. We watched the Technomats do their work and could see every centimeter of the servitor's stiff muscles abounding with valves and cavities pierced by countless cords and tubes. The disassembly and analysis complete, the Technomats concurred. The unit was in working order. Nothing in the dissected body that lay before us could provide any insight into the reason behind the defects. I should make note of one more thing. At the moment, all of us present discovered that not just the eyes, but the hands and heads of some of the servitors were now shaking too. It was as if the mechanized servants were overcome with some primordial terror. I assume examining the servitors just leads back to where I can't do anything further. Yeah, just this and then stepping away. Okay. I guess I will turn to make my announcement of my decision. His Lordship looked at me with unwavering resolve, and it was that confidence that wrenched me out of the nightmare stupor that had me tensely observing the scene unfolding before me. Lord Captain gave the order. Iconoclast, to dispose of the servitors so that their human souls may be released from torment. Dogmatic, to send the servitors back to toil as they had toiled before, for they had not yet paid their dues for the crimes of their past lives, and thus did not deserve clemency. Option 3, destroy the servitors for what was happening to them could spell horrific heresy, or leave the servitors to their work, for there was nothing in their behavior that the Lord Captain found alarming. I mean, somewhat alarming, but I was already thinking that if they're still doing their job, even if it's a little weird, we don't have the resources to create a bunch of more servitors. So, unless there was something obviously clearly heretical, it made sense for me to keep them. And since that's also the dogmatic choice of keep them working because they haven't finished their paying for their crimes, even if they're partially awake, that to some extent helps them pay for their crimes more, maybe. So yeah, send them back to toil as they have toiled before, for they have not yet paid their dues for the crimes of their past lives, and thus did not deserve clemency. On the Lord Captain's orders, the servitors were returned to the same decks where they had worked before. The crew was initially unnerved by their presence, but adapted to their quirks soon enough, especially since, following the incident in question, there was a noticeable reduction in the servitors' strange behavior. With the fate of the defective servitors decided, nothing could now distract the Lord Captain from his mission. The High Factotum Janus Danrock greets you with a cool smile and the merest hint of a bow. Pleasure to see you, Lord Captain. How may I be of assistance? Okay, so we could order the shipping and transportation of some goods. Replace the painting. Get new skilled fighters or retrain. Let's look at what this does. Order the shipping and transportation of some goods. Okay, so that's why we haven't been able to do this before. We haven't found the merchants in question. So we can trade with the tech priest, same way we did before, because we've now met them. Got it. I'd stop acting weird if it got my peers rounded up and one dissected. True facts. So we can now buy things that are up to 14 factor, which we didn't have before when we last went into the trade menu. I'm going to pick up the plasma pistol anyway, just cuz. And then needle ring. Ring that fires a single silver needle coated with viral toxin. Can only be used once per combat. This attack deals from 1 to 3 damage and has 30% armor penetration. Huh. And what is Toxin 5? At the start of every turn, the affected target must pass a toughness resistance test to remove the effect or suffer damage. So it's an attack that uses up our movement and actions like any other attack, but it just does a really crappy amount of damage to deal also pretty little ongoing damage. I mean, I'll see if that has value to anyone, but I'm guessing not. We only have reputation 4 as the max. Have we nearly maxed out your reputation, or... Because we used to be able to see, you know, the future ranks of what we could afford. Like, even when we were at 0, we could see several future ranks, but now I'm seeing at 4, it doesn't scroll down any far, or any farther. So I'm wondering, is that actually the end? We've nearly maxed out their reputation the first time we met them? Because that seems a little crazy. Or does this menu not scroll down? But when we were on planet, it would have. Don't know. So let's check out this ring. Okay, it fits into a ring slot. We don't know the distance of the attack. Like with a gun, it tells you its range is, you know, 18. With this, just says it fires a single silver needle coated in toxin. Oh hey, Adira, you probably have lots of levels we could give you. I think I'm going to give it to Castia because she doesn't have any great attack options. So that gives her another attack option. What's your ballistic skill? 30 is not fantastic. But I should give her something in case, because this crappy auto pistol isn't awesome. Shotgun, no. I was thinking we'd give her a las pistol, but apparently we don't have any. So Ripper auto pistol, 3 to 5. This is 4 to 6, but no armor pen. Versus 10 auto armor pen. We'll go with more damage. I don't know what's up with my mic, but it is driving me slowly mad. Same skills, so we'll go Lore Imperium again. And then skill-wise, willpower, or characteristics-wise, willpower is her most important, for sure. And we'll get it up to a whole number, which will be good. Are you able to get the next level of psyker? Yes, you can get psyker minoris now. Nice. So her psi rating will go up to psi rating 2. Which means, once again, she'll be more powerful than my main character. Or xenos, tech use, logic, Medicae. We'll just give you lore warp. Why not? Joint analysis is good. Foreboding creates an aura that lasts until the start of the psyker's next turn. All allies within the area gain more dodge. Probably joint analysis. Get everyone doing more damage. Advice and guidance. The first time in combat that an ally becomes the target of a psyker's psychic power, this ally gains +10 to weapon skill, ballistic skill until the end of combat. Sure. That sounds fine. Cool. Again, we're probably not going to use her much. Now let's find our Engine Seer Prime, wherever he's hiding. Maybe towards the front. No, is that? Nope, you're just a bridge technomat. I'm guessing he would be on the bridge somewhere. Like the main part of the bridge. Where are you, Pasqal? Genta, Cassia. Nope, seems he's not over here anywhere. Lard. Is he over here at all? Nope. I mean, Pascal's got to be somewhere. There's Adira. There's Cabela. You're just a regular bridge technomat. There you are, Pasqal. Hiding from me.
The Messiah knows all, comprehends all.
Pasqal, shrouded in his crimson robe, greets you with a soft voice, synthesized by the Vox system. The mechadendrites growing out of the tech priest's back swivel in your direction as if examining you with curiosity. I have some questions about your visit to Rykad Minoris.
The request is approved. I am ready to provide the necessary information.
What brought you to Rykad Minoris?
I came heeding the call of my mentor, the blessed Archmagus Amass. We were supposed to meet on Rykad Minoris and discuss my mission.
The people who wanted to kill you at the port weren't renegades. It was just a cover.
Thank you. Information acknowledged. I will analyze it and take additional security measures.
What do you think of this Abel Haneumann?
I propose that it was the blessed Amonat who assumed this name. This name is assigned to me. His presence in the hands of heretics is categorically unacceptable. The canon of technological security commands that every effort be made to rescue a high-ranking bearer of knowledge.
Alright, well that'll be all for now.
Acknowledged.
I want to know more about your past.
The request is approved. I have no outright restrictions on disclosing this information.
Behind the tech priest's shoulders, the mechadendrites spread out like wings. Where are you from?
Information about my origins is worthless. I belong to the priesthood of explorators and came to the Koronus Expanse over 200 years ago. Any events preceding that moment are insignificant.
He's over 200 years old. Wow. How'd you end up in the Koronus Expanse?
I was honored to become a member of the Explorator Cognizance Fleet. When the Adeptus Mechanicus summoned the faithful for an exploratory venture into the depths of the Koronus Expanse, I joined the fleet in fulfillment of my sacred vows of comprehension.
Why are you not with the fleet then?
Archmagus Amonat, my blessed mentor, commanded me to crew the orbital station Alter Templum Calixis EXT-17. This venerable temple station was founded in the early years of our expansion into the Koronus Expanse. It is currently a rear observation post of the Cognizance Fleet in orbit around the star Furibundus.
Who are the explorators?
The sacred fraternity of explorers. The cult Mechanica sends us out to the frontiers of the known sectors as researchers and conquerors. We are the warriors of the code, who return to the lost worlds and devote themselves to recovering the lost ancient knowledge.
Okay.
Explorators are granted the privilege of being more independent than many of our tech comrades. However, it has earned us a reputation as unstable and poorly controlled troublemakers whose unorthodox views are dangerously close to apostasy.
Huh. Okay. Is that other tech priests find you guys to be unorthodox and close to apostasy? Or are you saying that the common members of the Imperium who don't understand your purpose feels that you guys are unorthodox, unstable, etc., compared to other tech priests? Don't know. Tell me about your mechadendrites.
They are my younger brothers and guides on the way to the Omnissiah. Their machine spirits are directly backed they act ahead of my thoughts. This is how the Omnissiah leads me to comprehension.
The voice coming from the Vox synth changes and becomes strangely softer, blooming in a low, warm undertones. We can stop there.
Acknowledged.
Tell me more about the Adeptus Mechanicus.
I am honored to belong to the priesthood of Mars, guided by its tenets. We safeguard technology against the impure and the unenlightened.
Why did you mention Mars?
That is where the cult of the Omnissiah originated, and where we were granted the first revelations. Many millennia ago, we made an alliance with the Emperor of Terra, and have served the Imperium ever since, paying a tribute to machinery, weapons, and void ships.
So yeah, they, I think, made this deal with the Emperor before the Horus Heresy happened 10,000 years ago. So I think they were already tech priests doing what tech priests do, and were aiding the Emperor and the Imperium in trying to colonize the whole galaxy. And so they're just still doing that, even now that the Emperor is permanently affixed to the Golden Throne.
Everything that bears the blessed seal of machinery comes from our hands, and it is we who make sure the operating rituals are performed as they were meant to. We are everywhere. We are the Mars forged steel bars that give the Imperium strength.
What do you mean you guard it? It's not buried treasure. It's not a secret.
It is both a treasure and a secret. Technology is how the divinity of the Omnissiah manifests itself in this world. This is why the uninitiated may only be allowed to touch the most vulgar and mundane of its instances. We, on the other hand, are authorized to use the sacred catechism of maintenance and operation. Although there is another reason to deny lay people the sacrament of knowledge, it can be dangerous. Twisted by renegades, the Omnissiah's wisdom is called heretic, and the exposure to it may corrupt the uninitiated. Another danger is knowledge strangely interpreted and inscrutably twisted by the minds of the xenos. This vein is called xenotech.
Sacred objects should be touched only by worthy hands. Banning things you cannot understand is the opposite of seeking knowledge. Technology is merely a tool that can be employed without risk by any wise wielder. Admit it, the Adeptus Mechanicus does not wish to share their secrets because they are afraid someone might surpass them. As simple as that. I see. Xenotech. Heretic. So very dangerous. Sacred objects should be touched only by worthy hands. Yeah.
This statement is true. What many consider chains on our way to comprehension is our armor, which we have inherited from our wisdom-blessed predecessors.
Do you hold a high position in your fraternity?
This electu indicates that I am a Magos, who has mastered the sacraments of many spheres of knowledge, and has the right to conduct services in a forged cathedral.
Pasqal exposes his wrist. The glowing green threads of an electric tattoo run under the pale skin. It has long forgotten the taste of sunlight. What is the Omnissiah, in your understanding?
He is the divine mechanism, the maker of technology. The universe was made to resemble a mechanical marvel because the Omnissiah rules over it. Knowledge is the highest form that he uses to manifest in the world. For now. Someday, he will come to this world in the absolute fullness of his splendor.
Okay.
The Adeptus Mechanicus worshipped the Emperor. He is the earthly manifestation of the Omnissiah, who brought humanity into the light of divine grace.
Okay, he's perfectly willing to say that they do worship the Emperor. I thought that the Mechanicum sort of leave that on the edge where they claim that the Emperor is the Omnissiah just so that they can skirt Imperial law, but they don't ever like actively make that point, because to themselves they worship the Omnissiah, they don't worship the Emperor, and they'll just kind of, if forced to, claim they're the same. But no, he's perfectly fine just saying, yeah, we do worship the Emperor. Okay. What is behind the Adeptus Mechanicus enthusiasm for replacing flesh with augmentations?
Organic tissue is an imperfect replica of the machine. Transient and vulnerable. Metal is more stable, more effective, and more durable. Flesh speak is flawed next to binaric language. Meat begets weakness. It softens the mind and undermines discipline. But you can replace metal when it wears down. In addition, a machine is a supreme form of knowledge, and by assuming mechanical form, we become closer to the Omnissiah.
Yeah, all tech priests are just trying to slowly become more and more metal, which is how you can tell the difference easily from viewing between a new tech priest and a very high-ranking long-term tech priest, is just how much of themselves they've replaced.
However, like all things sacred, our augmentations must not be defiled by the eyes of the ignorant, which is why we reveal only the crudest of tools, while holier mechanisms remain concealed beneath our crimson robes.
Okay. Didn't know that, but that's cool. I'm curious to see your augmentations. That is an abominable disfigurement of the sacred human shape. Interesting superstition. I'm curious to see your augmentations. I assume I'm not allowed, but I'm curious to see them.
The right to witness the miracle of flesh being fused with holy metal is granted only to those who have ascended to the rank of initiate. However, your lofty status of rogue trader allows me to make a partial exception and reveal my sacred stigmata.
Okay. He's gonna do it right here on the bridge in front of everyone. Pasqal reverently parts the robe's scarlet folds on his chest. You see emaciated white meat gnawed through by metallic shunts and flexible wires. Blood runs through transparent pipes, enriched with the nutrients required by the pallid flesh. Tech use test succeeded. And this was using our own tech use. We didn't get to use his tech use to help us. So we only had an 85% chance to succeed on this, but we still pulled it off. This side of a body transformed into an appendage to an incredibly complex mechanism built using unfathomably ancient blueprints is mesmerizing. Every component of this machine serves the dual purpose of preserving life in Pasqal's fragile flesh and preventing all threats to his well-being. The Omnissiah has been generous to you. His creation is keeping you safe from death. You're right to hide your disfigurement from anyone else. How could you maim yourself in such a gruesome manner? Wow. No, the Omnissiah has been generous to you. His creation is keeping you safe from death.
The Omnissiah has been generous to you too. He has granted you understanding.
Pasqal looks to you with respect. He seems surprised that you recognize the purpose of the augmentations implanted in his body. You have a strange way of speaking. Is that because of the augmentation, or does your faith dictate how you should express yourself?
Partially true. I had a voice modulator implanted alongside the respiratory purification module, but there is an additional reason. Gothic is not my first language. I am used to thinking and making statements in lingua technis. The binaric language is more informative, more ergonomic, and less prone to misinterpretation.
A collection of dialects used by the Adeptus Mechanicus and its tech priest can be used as a spoken language with audio bursts, or as a machine code with electrical signals. That's the binaric, that they sometimes apparently call lingua technis. Okay, I have no more questions.
Acknowledged.
I must take my leave.
May your labors be effective and fruitful.
The Vox synth emits a rattling binaric mantra. Okay. So we have had our chat with Pasqal. So yes, the electrodynamic cenobium is here on Rykad Minoris, so we do want to go back down to the planet. So we have 3 quests: New Blood, find the Archmagos, and head to the monastery. Can we look at our quests? What is New Blood? Oh yeah, that's just getting more people. Okay, that's fine. We don't want to see the completed quests. Okay. So... yes, we want to go to the monastery. And now we can choose different locations. So... bunker, starport, electrodynamic cenobium. That's where we're supposed to go. What is the bunker? Because the starport's where we landed at first. Is this taking us directly to the command center? Because if so, it doesn't match up with, you know, where these icons are, because this is on one continent and this is on another. Let's try the bunker, see where that goes before we go to the electrodynamic cenobium. And yeah, we'll take the same crew we've been working with. I'm guessing this is the command center. Yes, this is the command center. So clearly the description they show is not to scale when they show it on a whole nother continent. Alright, then we will go to the cenobium. Oh, well, that looks cool.